Hello, fellow rosarians. Thank you for joining me. I have 3 Crown Princess Margaretas, a Saint Swithon, and believe it or not, I also have 3 Wollerton Hall down here. These roses have just failed to perform, and I think it's because I'm right next to the house here and they just don't get enough sun, and they probably also don't feel loved because they're right outside of the main property line. So it is time to bring them into the fold and put them on my new arches that I have added to the property. And so I thought it would be helpful to share with you how to move a climber. These are also difficult because, as I've shared with you, you don't plant your roses inside of the obelisk because it makes it so hard to get in there to clip all the dead branches. And so guess what I did? I planted these inside. I did this years ago, and I've just kind of struggled with it, knowing that I was going to remove them one day. So let's go ahead and start moving these and see if we can get them into their new home. I'm going to remove the canes from the obelisk so that there's nothing securing this right now. Let's see if I can just lift it up easy. So as I hoped, that was pretty easy. The canes are very malleable, and that's one of the characteristics of a climber, that they are long and bendy, and you can help to train them up or on a fence. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to dig it up, and what I'm using, maybe you all have this, is by Radius. This is the border fork, but you guys, I don't know, this is my second one now, and it always kind of has one tine that bends. It still works, I still love it, but it just frustrates me that the tine bends like that. What I want to do is just kind of bring these together with my secure clamps, tie it up a little bit. Okay, so now that I've done that, let me go over here and gently put my fork in. And what you do when you're pushing it in, you can feel those roots down there. Give it a little bit of a lift. Circle around it and just keep on lifting gently. Oh, these roots feel so small. So this rose has been in the ground for, gosh, several years. I'd have to look at my records, maybe 4 years, but look at this root system. It really is terrible for a 4-year-old rose. Let's see if the tag, I left the tag on here. Maybe the tag is causing a binding problem. So I'd like to show this to you. Maybe it's just me, but I find that if I leave a tag on a rose, in this case, this tag is 100% constricting this rose. So I've also found that if I leave a tag on a rose, that cane typically dies. I'm not sure if you all have found that. So I'm going to take this off and see if that helps. I mean, it is around the entire trunk of this rose. I'm looking at the rest of the roots and everything else looks fine. So we've got a nice rose tied together. Let's pull this one out. Okay, looking at this Wollerton Hall, can you see this? I mean, it's only coming up to here. This Wollerton Hall has been here for at least 3 years with no growth. Let's look at these roots. Looking at this root, everything looks fine. But if you were to just receive this in the mail, you would say that this is a brand new root from a vendor. That's the size that it is. So we'll go ahead and cut off this one cane and see if we can get it to perk up by putting it in a new location. So guys, what I'd like to do now with the remaining 1, 2, 3, for 5 climbers here is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to unsecure the canes from the support structure. So I'm going to take the clips off, and then I'm going to gently lift off the obelisk, and then I'm going to tie the canes together before I lift them out of the ground, just so that they're more secure. I'm going to inspect the roots and see if there's anything going on with the roots that I wasn't aware of, and then we're going to set them aside. I'm going to fast forward this section unless there's something egregious with the roots that I want to share with you. Let's just go ahead and get through this. Look at these teeny roots. You guys, this is like a 4-year-old climber. So something's crazy here. And I know you guys are probably saying right now, voles, moles, we don't have those. We never have. So I'm going to have to do some research on why roots would fail like that. You expect, really, we should be seeing over 2 feet on each one of these roses after the first 1.5 years or so. Now this looks more like a rose root getting closer to what we expect. Again, I've got a tag on here that definitely killed this one cane. So I suggest always taking off the tags and putting your marker in. Just so you're aware, this cane here is too aged and firm and not malleable. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use that, or if I'll have to cut that cane back and hope that it'll push out some new growth. Let's keep going. Okay, here's another Wollerton Hall. A little bit longer roots, but I want to point out again, I left the tag on this, and sure enough, that cane that it's attached to did not make it. So now we've got all of the roses taken up. Ken and I are going to use that awesome auger that I shared with you. Let's see if we can get these babies back in the ground and get them off to a good start with biotone to help those roots. I'm going to fertilize these in about 3 more weeks. I want to get them settled in and kind of a gentle move right now. Give them a little bit of compost. I'm going to gently train the canes right now. I'm not going to do anything aggressive to try to recorrect what's going on. So when we are planning on putting up against a trellis, what you want to do is we're going to angle the rose in the ground. So plant it in the ground, but then angle it towards this trellis, and you want to be about 1.5 feet away. I would say the most would be 2 feet away when you're putting it against any structure. So let me go ahead and get Ken started and I'll show you. I mentioned to you I am going to cut off this tag right now. I want to remove any issues for this rose. I've got really heavy clay soil, and gypsum will not hurt, so I'm putting usually 2 handfuls into the hole. Then I'm taking 1 handful of the biotone. When I put it into this hole, I want to angle it slightly towards the structure. And so let's look at what makes sense. I think this makes sense for the rose because it's just easier for the canes. I'm going to throw a little bit of biotone on top, and now I'm calling it done. I'm going to bring back now my native clay soil, like that. So now I've got, this is compost, I just have it in this container. This is the Leaf Grow compost that I've been using. It's plant-based. I'm going to throw a little bit of this on top to give it a little bit of a kick. And I'm excited. I see a basil break coming out here, which is wonderful. And I'm sure this rose is really going to take off when we give it great big roses here in 2 weeks. You can see how I'm angling it towards the structure. I'm going to take down now the canes. I've secured them together when I was moving them. And let's just take a quick look and see if they're malleable enough and they want to be trained. We'll see what we're working with. Under normal circumstances, what you want to do is get horizontal canes so that you get that lateral growth. So what we're going to do initially is tie this one here. Okay, what I want to use now is this Velcro tape. Let's give this a go. I think it'll look nicer, and I've been wanting to try this. So typically we want our climbers to be secured every 18 inches. Do you remember when we did our last video on making sure that you're using the main canes for the training? I'm not sure if you can see down here, but down here there is a cane coming off that has no value because it's not a main cane. So to allow the rose to put more energy forward, I just took that one off. Looking at this one here, I'm going to cut it off because it is a side shoot, and I'm going to keep it relatively small, and we'll do that with this one. I'm keeping these side shoots that are coming off somewhere between 5 inches or so, just so I can see what they want to do this year. That's coming together, isn't it? And so now I have a choice to make on this cane. I'm not sure if you can see it. Maybe Chardonnay is allowing you to see what's going on here. But this main cane that I was using has 2 forks in it. So I'm going to choose whatever I see as the leader of these. They're both reasonable. I really think that I want to keep this one. So I'm going to use this one that's coming off right here as a lateral. And now this is also another lateral. But here's our main cane. When they are not used to being trained, they're a little stubborn and persnickety, and so you don't want to pull them too tight too quick, so that I can slowly train this, and I will keep adjusting this every couple of weeks. I am just going to clip it here for now. Okay, so this is going to be held in place. Let's take a quick look at laterals and clean it up. This is a main cane, and so it's okay if they kind of overlap here, these main laterals, because we'll be able to continue kind of moving these in the future. I'm also going to come back and use my bone-eyed sealer. So this is very malleable. So I can start this one down here much lower. Now, I hope you can see here. Again, I have a decision of what is going to be my main cane and which one is going to be a lateral. I've decided I want to bring this one down a little bit, if it'll let me. Okay, So I'm happy with this for now. We have secured all of the canes. They are all moving up horizontally here. It's leaning towards the structure. And then I have a cane and it's winding here. And this one I'll continue to train horizontally as it grows. This one here, it's moving along this way. And then this main cane is here coming up, and everywhere that there's a lateral off of that, you can see I've kept it at 4, 5, 6 inches, something like that, just because I want to see what it does. But I'm going to go ahead and seal all of these canes. I'm going to go over here to the other side and we're going to put that one on fast forward and show you putting that one in. Okay, so I just wanted to show you really quick. You can see that this cane, let me get over on this side for you. We've got a fence getting ready to go in, and so you can see the property line. I am bringing this fence right up to the back of this. So I wanted this climber to be next to it because I'm really not going to have any room back here. So it is in line with the arch so that coming through nobody will hit it, and I'll keep on trying to pull it a little bit more. But if you look what's going on with the canes here, I have a main cane and I have trimmed all the laterals back, a main cane here, and it actually goes up and around. So I hope that you will stay with me through the season. If you're not already a subscriber, please consider doing so. We're going to be checking in on these climbers and watching how they do through the season, and I'll continue to train them. So thanks so much. I'll see you in the next one.